Welcome to Cape Town News. Today is Sunday, the 18th of January 2026, and in case you missed it, here's a recap of the top stories that made headlines in the Western Cape this past week. Dunoon woke up to ruin after a fast-moving fire tore through Site 5, wiping out more than 1,000 homes and leaving an estimated 5,500 people without shelter. Aid teams, city officials, and animal welfare crews are now trying to stabilize a community that effectively lost its entire footprint in a single afternoon. Gift of the Givers founder Imtiaz Suleiman says the scale is so severe it may be the largest informal settlement fire in the Western Cape since the Khayelitsha blaze in 2013. And his words match the images coming out of the area, with rows of corrugated metal twisted into rubble and smoke still hanging over the site. Firefighters fought in difficult conditions as strong winds pushed the flames across tightly packed dwellings, forcing a major response that included 2 helicopters for aerial waterbombing. The fire was extinguished at about 7 in the evening, but the real work began after the last flame died, because the numbers translate into immediate human need: food, water, blankets, medical support, and safe temporary shelter. Suleiman says his team fed 3,000 displaced people and 220 emergency workers on Friday night, then served breakfast to 3,500 people on Saturday morning, which gives a sense of how many mouths need help before recovery planning even starts. Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis praised emergency crews and city staff, saying firefighters bravely fought the blaze in windy conditions and that aerial waterbombing was required to get it under control. Animal welfare teams are also on the ground. The Cape of Good Hope Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals activated a large-scale disaster response, with spokesperson Belinda Abraham warning that animals are often hidden casualties in disasters of this size. Cape Nature also issued a warning to the public not to interfere with wildlife. It reminded residents that Fynbos is adapted to fire and that only trained, authorized people may handle, transport, or rehabilitate wild animals under environmental law. The provincial picture is also tightening. The Western Cape has already authorized 38 aerial firefighting missions this season. About 90,000 hectares have burnt in recent fires, and around 15 million rand has already been spent on aerial support, with more funding being considered as hot, dry conditions persist beyond March. For Dunoon, that means recovery will happen under a long summer of risk, not relief. Cape Town's export story is changing fast as higher United States tariffs hit, and the latest numbers show the pressure is landing before the biggest increases even begin. Invest Cape Town's economic performance indicators for Cape Town report for the second quarter shows exports up by 9.2% to 36.8 billion rand. But behind that headline is a scramble to protect market share, secure exemptions, and shift growth toward China and Europe. Fruit is carrying the load, and the data shows a sharp pre-deadline surge that points to front-loading. In other words, buyers ordering early to beat the tariff cliff. Citrus fruit jumped 37.7% to 4.24 billion rand, while apples, pears and quinces rose 10% to 3 billion rand year on year. The report says the surge is most likely tied to orders placed ahead of a 30% United States tariff increase due on the 1st of August. Engine parts also spiked, up 82% to 323 million rand, becoming the top export to the United States, another sign of front-loading where possible. But some industries cannot outrun the clock. Yachts and other pleasure vessels fell 31.8% to 827 million rand, with the report pointing to long custom build times that make tariff dodging almost impossible. The United States was still Cape Town's third largest export market in the second quarter of last year at 2.29 billion rand, but that was down 11.7% quarter-on-quarter and 21.9% year-on-year, likely linked to the 10% tariff introduced on the 5th of April. Even so, business is adapting. The Citrus Growers Association of Southern Africa secured a tariff exemption for oranges, and Chief Executive Boitshoko Nchabeli says it restores competitiveness and could grow exports and jobs for growers in the Western and Northern Cape. The pivot continues east and north. China has opened its market to 5 stone fruit types under one deal, and Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen says it could unlock about 400 million rand over 5 years, with growth projected over a decade. Vehicle exports also rose overall, boosted by Europe and Africa, even as United States vehicle exports plunged 85.7%. South Africa has lost the kind of bold business leaders who once shaped the country's economic direction, and that absence is now being felt across boardrooms, markets, and communities, according to veteran investor and stockbroker David Shapiro. Speaking to BizNews, Shapiro said the country no longer produces corporate titans willing to take big risks, challenge authority, and drive long-term growth, arguing that today's executives are largely focused on survival rather than expansion. With more than 50 years of experience on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, Shapiro reflected on an era when business leaders did more than manage companies. They influenced policy, inspired confidence, and helped set the direction of the economy. Figures such as Brian Joffe, Sol Kersner, and Raymond Ackerman, he said, built businesses that created ecosystems, jobs, and brands that people genuinely connected with. Shapiro identified several reasons for the hollowing out of corporate leadership. One was the rush offshore after exchange controls were relaxed, when companies expanded internationally without fully considering the long-term impact on South Africa's economy. Another was the post-1994 policy environment, which he believes fundamentally altered incentives in boardrooms and encouraged caution over ambition. He argued that regulation now suffocates growth, with businesses facing thick rulebooks instead of open doors. According to Shapiro, executives spend more time navigating compliance requirements than building factories, expanding markets, or driving innovation. This, he said, has transformed the Johannesburg Stock Exchange from a stage for champions into a battleground for fighters, where companies focus on coping rather than conquering. While Shapiro acknowledged that modern leaders are highly competent, he warned that without courage, foresight, and a willingness to take risks, South Africa risks managing decline instead of pursuing growth. He said the country still has immense potential, but unlocking it will require a return to bold leadership and a shift away from a survival mindset. The implications of this shift are already visible in regional economies like the Western Cape, where businesses increasingly invest in resilience rather than expansion. Instead of building new factories or scaling operations, companies are diverting capital into backup power, private security, compliance teams, and risk management. Shapiro warned that this defensive posture drains energy from innovation and job creation, reinforcing a cycle where the economy adapts to dysfunction instead of fixing it. He said reversing this trend will require political will, regulatory reform, and a renewed partnership between government and business. Otherwise, South Africa risks losing not only its giants, but also the next generation of entrepreneurs who could have replaced them. Cape Town's enforcement agencies have intensified operations against illegal firearms, leading to a sharp increase in arrests and a series of significant weapon recoveries across the city. Over the past week, a total of 338 arrests were made, up from 241 the previous week, as officers targeted gun violence hotspots and responded to tip-offs from the public. Among the most notable recoveries was a revolver buried beneath an informal structure in District 6, discovered after freeway management system camera operators alerted Metro Police to suspicious behavior. With assistance from a South African Police Service K9 unit, officers uncovered a .38 special revolver and live ammunition, resulting in 6 arrests. In Hanover Park, LEAP officers recovered a loaded 9mm pistol hidden in a wheelie bin during patrols following reports of gunfire. Later the same day, a 41-year-old man was arrested with a revolver and live rounds during a separate shooting-related response. MACO member for Safety and Security Alderman J.P. Smith said every firearm seized potentially prevents multiple crimes and saves lives. However, he warned that illegal gun supply lines remain a serious concern and called for stronger action to shut them down. Beyond firearm operations, Metro Police made 97 arrests, while law enforcement officers recorded more than 200 arrests and issued thousands of notices. Traffic officers logged nearly 36,000 offences and impounded over 100 public transport vehicles. The city's emergency call centre also handled more than 1,500 calls over the weekend. 5 District 6 families who survived apartheid forced removals have now been ordered to vacate historic Victorian cottages in Searle Street by the 6th of March, following a ruling by acting magistrate Juan de Pontes. The judgment brings to an end a years-long legal battle that has placed heritage, housing justice, and property rights on a collision course. The cottages, originally owned by the Holy Cross Sisters, were sold in 2014 to developer Etienne Dutoy for R2.45 million. Residents argued they had been granted lifelong tenure by church officials, but the Western Cape High Court rejected this claim, describing the evidence as unreliable and hearsay. In applying the Prevention of Illegal Eviction from and Unlawful Occupation of Land Act, the magistrate acknowledged the deep historical and emotional ties the families have to District 6, calling the cottages a rare example of continuity after mass apartheid-era displacement. However, he ruled that the law, not sentiment, must prevail, finding the residents to be unlawful occupiers. The City of Cape Town has been ordered to provide temporary emergency accommodation, while social services must assist families with alternative housing solutions. The city has indicated that housing options near District 6 are extremely limited, raising fears that families may once again be displaced far from their community. Public reaction has been swift and emotional, with housing activists warning that the ruling highlights unresolved injustices dating back decades and questioning whether restitution in District 6 is truly complete. Whether the families will seek leave to appeal remains unclear, but the ruling has reignited debate around land, memory, and dignity in post-apartheid Cape Town. The eviction order has sparked renewed anger among Cape Townians, community leaders, and land restitution activists, who argue that District 6 represents more than bricks and property values. It remains one of the most painful symbols of apartheid displacement in Cape Town. Critics say the ruling exposes long-standing failures in restitution policy and the slow pace of meaningful return for families forcibly removed decades ago, warning that without urgent political intervention, the promise of justice for District 6 risks becoming purely symbolic rather than lived reality. A man was shot and killed in broad daylight outside Manenberg police station on Monday morning in what police believe is a gang-related hit, raising fresh concerns about escalating violence on the Cape Flats. The 44-year-old victim was standing behind a taxi on the corner of Klipfontein and Danefontein Road when an unknown gunman approached and shot him once in the back of the head before fleeing towards Tower Cop. The man died at the scene. Police spokesperson Captain F.C. Van Wyk confirmed that Manenberg police registered a murder case and that the motive is under investigation. The shooting took place in full view of commuters, highlighting the brazenness of ongoing gang activity. The killing follows another gang-related incident in the area, where the body of a 22-year-old alleged gang member was recently found at a canal nearby. Police attached to Operation Chanela 2 have since intensified patrols in Manenberg, arresting 2 suspects after officers came under fire while responding to further shooting incidents. Firearms and ammunition were seized during the arrests. In a separate incident in Steenberg, a 27-year-old man was shot multiple times in an alleged drive-by attack and remains in hospital. Police have opened an attempted murder case. Cape Town's booming tourism industry is drawing record numbers of visitors, but many locals say they are paying the price and feeling increasingly unwelcome in their own city. A growing online conversation has highlighted frustrations around restaurant bookings, rising prices, traffic congestion, and a sense that everyday spaces now cater almost exclusively to foreign visitors. The debate gained momentum after two friends shared a viral TikTok video documenting their failed attempts to book a dinner table at popular Cape Town restaurants, despite visibly empty venues. Their experience took a sharp turn when one of them phoned again using an American accent and instantly secured a reservation. The video, created partly in jest, struck a nerve and has since attracted hundreds of thousands of views, opening a much wider discussion about who the city is really serving. Cape Townians flooded the comments with similar stories, describing being turned away, ignored, or made to feel unwelcome in spaces that once felt accessible. Others pointed to deeper issues, including rising property prices, the spread of short-term rentals, and pressure on infrastructure as tourism numbers climb. Some commenters said these experiences are not new and reflect long-standing inequalities that are now becoming more visible and harder to ignore. Beyond restaurants and nightlife, concerns are also being raised about the broader impact on daily life. Locals say simple activities like finding parking, accessing beaches during peak periods, or commuting through the city have become increasingly difficult. Many feel that decision-making prioritizes visitor experience over the needs of people who live and work in Cape Town year-round, creating a sense of exclusion that goes beyond seasonal frustration. Tourism authorities confirmed that Cape Town International Airport recorded more than 11 million passengers last year, with strong growth in both international and domestic travel. Cape Town Air Access says tourism is central to job creation and economic growth, but locals warn that without balance, the city risks losing something vital, the feeling that Cape Town is still home for the people who live here. Two City of Cape Town law enforcement officers have been arrested following an undercover anti-corruption operation in Parow after allegedly demanding a bribe from a motorist. The arrests were carried out by the South African Police Service after the motorist reported the incident to the anti-corruption unit. According to investigators, the officers stopped the motorist earlier this month for driving under the influence, failing to produce a valid license, and operating an unlicensed vehicle. Instead of following legal procedures, the officers allegedly demanded 3,000 rand to let him go, later arranging a handover when he could not pay immediately. The controlled operation led to the officers' arrest when they allegedly accepted the cash. The City of Cape Town confirmed it would cooperate fully with the investigation and that the officers will face suspension once released from custody. Political leaders welcomed the arrests, but warned that corruption within law enforcement cannot be treated as isolated incidents, saying public trust depends on consistent accountability and visible consequences. A long queue of anxious parents and learners formed outside the Western Cape Education District office yesterday morning, just one day after schools reopened for the 2026 academic year, as families sought urgent answers about where their children would be placed. Parents stood for meters outside the gates, many visibly distressed after months of uncertainty and unanswered appeals, while learners who should have been in class remained at home as the school year began. One parent, Sasha Yuta from Portland, described the emotional toll of watching her 13-year-old daughter stay behind on the first day of high school while her siblings prepared for school. She said her family applied on time and followed every step of the application process, yet all applications to schools in and around Mitchell's Plain were unsuccessful. The only placement offered was in Tafelberg, an option she refused due to safety concerns and previous incidents of violence at the school. Yuta said she appealed the decision multiple times, visited schools with motivational letters, and even approached the provincial education minister, but was repeatedly referred back to the same placement. She questioned whether enough consideration was being given to learner safety and emotional well-being, saying that after doing everything right, her child was still left without a school on the first day of term. Another parent, Zimi Mandela, said her child, who should be in grade 8 this year, also remains without placement after both chosen schools rejected the application as oversubscribed. She said, "Communication from the department has been slow, leaving families feeling abandoned during a critical period." In response, the Western Cape Education Department said demand for certain schools far exceeds available space and urged parents to accept reasonable placement offers to avoid disruption, while acknowledging that some movement may occur in the coming weeks. For many families standing in queues, however, the wait continues, with learners' education on hold and frustration growing. A Manenberg family is grieving the death of 18-year-old Dominic Grief, whose body was found inside a shack near a canal between Danefontein Road and Silverstream earlier this week. He was discovered with a gunshot wound to the chest, and medical personnel declared him dead at the scene. A devastated relative said the family had feared this outcome after Grief left home more than 2 years ago and became involved in gangsterism and drug use. The last time they saw him was at a court appearance in Athlone, after which he refused to return home. Despite knowing the dangers, the speed at which his life ended has left the family numb and searching for answers. Police confirmed that a murder case has been opened and that the motive for the attack remains under investigation. The killing comes amid ongoing gang violence in Manenberg, where multiple shootings have been reported in recent weeks, including incidents near the police station itself. Community members say the violence has reached a point where families are keeping children indoors out of fear, particularly around funerals linked to gang activity. Police have appealed to anyone with information to contact Crime Stop or report anonymously via the MySaps application. The Manenberg community has been left on edge after a brazen early morning shooting claimed the life of an alleged gangster and left an innocent bystander wounded. The attack unfolded at a busy intersection just after 7 o'clock, shocking residents already accustomed to the realities of gang violence. Eyewitnesses described a swift, coordinated assault involving 2 vehicles. One car blocked the victim's vehicle from the front, while another approached from behind. 3 gunmen reportedly jumped out and opened fire, leaving the alleged gangster slumped behind the steering wheel with multiple gunshot wounds. Amid the chaos, an electrician passing through the area was struck and rushed to hospital. Police have opened 2 counts of murder and confirmed that both victims sustained multiple gunshot wounds to the upper body. Officers say the motive for the attack remains unclear, and the suspects fled the scene immediately after the shooting. The incident has heightened fear in the area, with residents calling for stronger action to curb gang violence that continues to place innocent lives at risk. Police have appealed to anyone with information to come forward, stressing that tip-offs can be provided anonymously. As investigations continue, Cape Townians in Manenberg say the shooting is another reminder of how quickly everyday routines can turn deadly. Community leaders say the shooting has intensified daily anxiety in Manenberg, with parents keeping children indoors and commuters altering routines out of fear of being caught in crossfire. Taxi operators and shop owners in the area reported a visible drop in early morning movement following the attack. Residents are calling for a sustained police presence, not short-term operations, warning that repeated shootings are normalizing trauma and eroding trust that streets can ever be made safe. Many say the fear is no longer limited to known gang zones, but now affects ordinary routes to work, schools, and places of worship. For many Cape Townians in Manenberg, the question is no longer when peace will return, but how much more violence the community will be forced to endure. Rising temperatures across the Western Cape are being linked to a noticeable increase in fruit flies and cockroaches, a trend scientists say reflects mounting environmental stress during an intense wildfire season. Researchers explain that insects respond rapidly to heat because their body temperature and behavior depend directly on surrounding conditions. As temperatures climb, heat-tolerant species such as cockroaches and fruit flies become more active and reproduce faster, often moving indoors in search of water and cooler shelter, making their presence more visible to households. Experts note that residents have also reported fewer cricket calls during recent heat waves. While moderate warmth usually increases cricket activity, extreme heat and drought suppress their movement and reproduction. Dry soils and stressed vegetation reduce suitable habitat, while behavioral avoidance pushes crickets underground, making them quieter rather than extinct. Scientists caution that short-term changes reflect immediate weather extremes, while long-term monitoring is needed to confirm broader climate shifts. The warning comes as wildfire conditions remain severe across the province. According to the South African Weather Service, the January to March period is expected to bring above normal temperatures across much of the Western Cape, compounded by consecutive months of below-average rainfall. Dam levels remain under pressure, and catchment recovery opportunities are limited. Authorities say prolonged heat could drive longer-term ecological changes, including increased pest pressure on agriculture and disruptions to food webs affecting birds, reptiles, and soil health. As fires continue, Cape Nature has urged the public not to touch or remove displaced wildlife, warning that unnecessary handling can cause serious harm. Officials say the smallest changes in nature are already signaling a hotter, more challenging future for the province. Tomorrow, the weather forecast brings clear and sunny conditions across the Western Cape. In Cape Town, temperatures start the day cool before reaching a high of 24 degrees with a low of 19. Parow heats up significantly, peaking at 33 degrees after a cooler morning low of 15. Stellenbosch stays more moderate, climbing to 25 degrees with an overnight low of 18. Skies remain sunny through the morning, afternoon, and evening, with no rain expected and humidity sitting at 55%. A steady, southerly wind blows across the city at around 33 kilometers an hour, strongest along the coastline. At sea, a southwesterly swell of 1.9 meters with an 11-second period keeps conditions active. High tide in Cape Town is at 3:44 in the morning, followed by low tide at 9:47. The second high tide arrives at 3:49 in the afternoon, with low tide again at 9:58 in the evening. Sunrise is at 5:54, with sunset at 19:59. The ultraviolet index reaches 11, which is very high, so sun protection is essential throughout the day. With that, we conclude today's bulletin, and now you know what's happening in the mother city. Thank you for watching Cape Town News. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. We appreciate your support. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget tomorrow's Cape Town News drops right here on YouTube at 3 p.m. Until next time, stay safe, informed, and connected.